Do you know when the mountain goats give birth? Do you watch when the deer are in labor? Can you count the months they carry their young, or know the moment they give birth? They crouch down and bring forth their offspring. They deliver their young and are done with their labor. Their young grow strong, they grow up in the open field. They go out and do not return to them. Who has set the wild donkey free? Who has loosened the bonds of the swift donkey? To whom I gave the desert as its home and the salt land as its dwelling place. It laughs at the noise of the city and does not hear the shouts of the driver. It ranges the hills as its pasture and searches after every green thing. Is the wild ox willing to serve you? Will it spend the night at your manger? Can you bind it in the furrow with ropes, or will it harrow the valleys behind you? Will you rely on it because its strength is great and leave your labor to it? Do you trust it to return your grain and gather it to your threshing floor? The wings of the ostrich wave proudly, but are they the feathers and plumage of love? She leaves her eggs on the ground and lets them be warmed in the dust, forgetting that a foot may crush them, or that a wild beast may trample them. She deals harshly with her young as if they were not hers, though her labor is in vain without fear, because God has made her forget wisdom and has given her no share in understanding. Yet when she rises to run, she laughs at the horse and its rider. Do you give the horse his might? Do you clothe his neck with a flowing mane? Do you make him leap like a locust? His majestic snorting is terrifying. He paws in the valley and exults in his strength. He goes out to meet the weapons. He laughs at fear and is not afraid. He does not turn back from the sword. Upon him rattle the quiver, the flashing spear and javelin. With fierceness and rage he swallows the ground. He cannot stand still at the sound of the trumpet. When the trumpet sounds, he says, uh-huh. He smells the battle from far away, the thunder of the captains and the shouting. Is it by your understanding that the hawk soars and spreads his wings toward the south? Is it at your command that the eagle mounts up and makes his nest on high? He dwells on the cliff and makes his home on the rocky crag and stronghold. From there he spies out the prey. His eyes behold it from far away. His young ones feast on blood, and where the slain are, there he is. Then the Lord said to Job, shall one who contends with the Almighty correct him? Let him who argues with God answer. Then Job answered the Lord and said, behold, I am small. What shall I answer you? I lay my hand on my mouth. I have spoken once, and I will not answer. Twice, but I will proceed no further. Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, brace yourself like a man. I will question you, and you make it known to me. Will you even put me in the wrong? Will you condemn me so that you may be justified? Do you have an arm like God, and can you thunder with a voice like his? Adorn yourself with majesty and dignity. Clothe yourself with glory and splendor. Pour out the overflowings of your anger, and look on everyone who is proud and bring him low. Look on everyone who is proud and humble him, and crush the wicked where they stand. Hide them all together in the dust. Bind their faces in the hidden place. Then I will also acknowledge to you that your own right hand can save you. You've just listened to God speak out of the storm. Not to comfort Job, not to explain himself, but to reveal himself. Job didn't get answers, he got perspective. He didn't get relief first, he got reality. God didn't say, let me explain why this happened. He said, where were you? Where were you when the foundations of the earth were laid? Where were you when the sea was told, this far and no farther? Where were you when life was set in motion and death was placed under my authority? And Job's response wasn't debate, it wasn't defense, it wasn't resistance, it was silence and surrender. That's where this leaves us too. Because once you see God like that, resistance stops making sense. Once you realize how small you are, pretending to be in control becomes exhausting. And here's the truth we don't like to face. You and I are not Job. Job was righteous and still powerless. Job was faithful and still undone. Job stood blameless and still put his hand over his mouth. If Job couldn't justify himself before God, neither can we. And that's where Christ steps in, because God didn't just reveal his power in the storm, he revealed his mercy at the cross. Jesus did what we could never do.
He obeyed where we failed, he submitted where we resisted. He trusted the Father fully, even when it led him to suffering. We couldn't stand before God and live, so God came to us in flesh. He carried our rebellion, he bore our pride. He took the weight of our sin and our self-rule and our constant need to be right. Scripture says he disarmed the powers and authorities and made a public spectacle of them at the cross. Satan wasn't defeated quietly, he was exposed, shamed, rendered powerless by obedience and love. And the same God who questioned Job from the whirlwind now stands with open arms. Jesus tells us the Father watches the road, not with crossed arms, not with a clenched jaw, but with longing, waiting, watching, ready to run when the child finally turns home. This is where surrender stops being lost and starts being life, because resisting God doesn't make you strong, it makes you tired. Fighting him doesn't make you free, it keeps you bound to yourself. You were never meant to carry the weight of your own soul. You were never meant to rule your own life. You were never meant to save yourself. True life only comes when you stop trying, when you stop arguing, when you stop negotiating, when you stop asking God to justify himself to you, and you simply fall at his feet and say, I am not able, but you are. Jesus didn't come to improve your life. He came to give you life, not borrowed breath, not surface peace, but real life, resurrected life, life that doesn't end when suffering comes. If God is who he says he is, and Job shows us he is, then surrender isn't optional, it's inevitable. The only question is whether it will happen now, in humility, or later in judgment. So lay it down, your control, your excuses, your resistance. Stop standing in the storm demanding answers and step into the arms of the one who already paid the cost. He did what you could not do, he won what you could not win, he offers what you could never earn. Come home, life is waiting. Life is waiting.